Talk on fuels treatment effectiveness monitoring. I am Kendra Fallon, your regional fire ecologist. So FTEM, also known as, I've heard it called FTEM or FTEM. I actually usually just call it FTEM, but regardless, a rose by any other name is still fire effects monitoring. And this presentation is going to be what this is and why you should / need to care. Oh, that was underwhelming. Well, okay, there we go. So what is FTEM? It is an online database that is housed within FTDIS, and it's the record of the interaction between a wildfire and a hazardous fuel treatment. So not all treatments, just treatments that were entered into facts under key point 3 or 6, which is why you may not see all treatments that you know on the landscape to be entered in there. It is national and interagency in scope. So FTEM is used by our DOI sister agencies as well. And I think to some kind of random extent, some states are jumping on. So we'll see. These are very simple summary reports. And it is a collection for photos as well. You can upload photos regarding fuels treatment impacts as well. And a lot of area for you to provide narrative for your records. All right, so now that we kind of have a basic idea about what FTEM is, let's talk about what it is not. It does not evaluate fuels treatments that have not encountered a wildfire. So the only time that a treatment will populate is when there has been an intersection with a wildfire. It is not unto itself research. This is simply data collection. It is a data set. I use it for research, but which is why one of the reasons it's important, but it in and of itself is a subjective observational collection of information. It is not comprehensive fire effects monitoring. There are no plots. There is no measurement. This is an ocular estimation only. And it does not require the monitoring of restoration objectives. So there's no FRCC, there's no HRV, there's really no ecosystem assessment. And again, there's no economics involved. That's a slice of the pie for other people. So the key FTEM questions, there are 4 mandatory. One will actually be populated for you based on the magic of AGOL, which is fantastic. But really the 2 that you need to enter in is, did the fire behavior change as a result of the treatment? It is a simple yes or no. It is also a required question. There are plenty of questions that are not required. This is one that is. And did the treatment contribute to the control or management of the wildfire? Again, another yes or no question. And it's through the collection of the yeses and the nos that we can do research and look at overall trends. Okay, so the important one, why you should or need to care. So FTEM is required by policy. We do have a section in the handbook regarding I believe, I think it's either 30 or 90 days after the fire is called out that this data will be entered into the FTDIS portal into FTEM. There are right now, I cannot stress this enough, a lot of eyes on fuels treatments. We are dumping a ton of money into fuels treatments, as you guys are all well aware of. And the logical question that we get asked is, how effective are these? And if we cannot provide any metric of effectiveness, it's very hard to defend the money that we're getting, in addition to say that we're doing anything regarding adaptive management and trying to understand how and where and under what circumstances treatments are effective and to improve their effectiveness as we move forward. So we get data calls all the time, and that's why I'm really stressing that I need something to put on these data calls. That's where everyone comes in with entering this information. As I've alluded to before, research is done on this data set, not just by me, but by actually a whole bunch of people right now. So please know that it is not just a piece of data that you're collecting that will sit on a shelf and not be looked at. This is a very, very actively used data set. And the other reason that you should care is it will happen to you. It is only a matter of time until you have a wildfire which interacts with the treatment, and therefore you will need to enter that interaction into the database. So this is just something that we all in the field world need to know. All right, so now we're going to go over to the live demo. Maybe. Okay, so to get in to the Chaparral Institute, so we'll go to FTDIS. Actually, oops, that's not going to work. So all of us should land here. All right, we go to our login. Login as a government person. That's weird. Okay. All right, and then right here, I'm assuming everyone can see this quite well. There's the button we click to get into FTEM. And so I'm not going to spend too long in this, but I do want everyone to see my blank screen. Wait for it. There we go. All right. So there are a lot of tabs up here. There's a considerable amount of help besides me regarding all these other tabs. Right now, we're going to focus on this one over here on the far left, FTEM monitoring. And judging by how fast it took to load that last screen, this one also might be a touch of a drag, but we'll get there. Okay, so this is a split screen. It'll automatically start as a split screen. You can go ahead and hide that layer list that auto populates up. And so one of the cool things is that this list over here is actually spatially related to the zoom in over here. So you have two options. If you know that a wildfire did interact with a treatment, you can go ahead and search for the wildfire right in there. And so say I knew that it happened to be Bates, it'll auto-populate. If you're unsure, and this also would play into when I create the spreadsheets that I do for all of your forests regarding if you have treatments. You can look the wildfire up there, or you can just go geographically to your area and pan on in. So all of the gray dots, if we bring up this layer list, there we go, layer list. So the gray ones were no interactions detected. That means that, okay, let me step back. So what you're looking at is the pulling in of facts data, again, only key point 3 and 6, and wildfires. And the facts data is updated every single night at midnight. So this is as up to date as your facts layer is. So if your facts layers aren't up to date, FTEM won't be able to pull up to date information. The wildfires, I don't know where they're coming from, whatever our national clearinghouse is for all wildfires. Okay, so these are obviously wildfires, but there was no intersection with or interaction detected with any known fuels treatments and facts. Ones that are green means the monitoring has been completed. Good job, Klamath. And as you can see here, this one is saying that this is a check for interactions. So let's go ahead and we'll zoom in a little bit more. So as you can see, as you zoom in, it's this gray area here is pulling in all the facts treatments that were, again, key point 3 and 6 funded. So one of the cool things is you can click on the little fire icon right here, and it's going to give you information about the incident. So this is saying it was a 0.01 acre. Okay, so that was, you know, our little escaped campfire or whatever it was, stat fire. So one of the things as you break FTEM, okay, I'll just talk while it's taking a moment, is that Yeah, I'm aware. Is that for small fires, if it does not have a perimeter, so that's going to be a fire probably less than 10 acres, unless you guys are, walking your smaller fires. It's going to, the system will take that point fire and it's going to assign a buffer to it and capture a whole bunch of all the treatments that it might have interacted because you're not providing an actual perimeter. If you have a fire that was entered into the system with a perimeter, it will capture the only the treatments that that perimeter interacted with. So point fires may end up showing something on the order of like 15 treatments, but you need to go in there and clear them out because all it was doing was capturing that entire circle of all the potential interactions. And that's really the key to this, is the shopping cart that's created right here. Those are potential interactions. And because that fire is catching that, it will stay as check for interactions until you clear the interactions from the shopping cart, and then it will turn gray and say no interactions detected. All right. Okay, so let's just click reload and see if I can get lucky. Oof. Any questions so far while I awkwardly fight with FTEM? Okay. Great.
It's always hard to do live stuff online.
Yeah, all right.
You're doing great, though.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
All right. Just in case you missed it the first time, here's how we get into it. The other thing too is if you're still cleaning up fires from last year, this toggle right here, it says wildfires 2024. So if you're looking for a fire and maybe you've been told like, hey, we need to enter in these treatments or these interactions from previous years, just remember there's a built-in filter for the calendar year that you find yourself currently in. So if you can't find a fire, my first recommendation is to check your year. All right. So let's find another fire. Who do we have on? Who's looking at this and saying like, oh, that could have been my fire? Oh, LP, Rudy, I saw you, right? Aren't you here?
Yep, I'm here. I was
All
just
right.
eating a piece of pizza.
Yeah,
So
that's allowable. Rudy, this is your fire, right? Oh, wait, where'd the red one go? Oh, you had one. Dang. Oh, I swear I saw one for you. All right.
It might
Let's
have been the
go.
Takuya incident.
Yeah,
Would have been the only one that I think intersected any treatments.
Zoom in. Yeah, and so I don't see it down here. Nothing is red. Okay, sorry. I thought I saw a flash of red over there. So, all right, let's go to the basin. Do we have any basin people here? No. What about, who would this be? Who's off Highway 49? Stanoldo?
Somebody just mentioned something from this area that just goes south of there.
Is that
in the chat? Let's see. Oh, Mike mentioned the oak fire on the Sierra.
Okay, let's see. Oh, hey, let's find it. Oak fire. Oh, you guys are good. Apparently, there was no interaction according to FTEM. So if your fax is up to date, that's showing no interaction. All right. Well, let's go ahead here and we'll go to this basin fire. And so the leaf fire. Wow, that is quite the acreage calculation on that one. Okay, so what you would do is you would pick your wildfire. Oh goodness. Wow, FTEM is struggling today. All right. Oh, that's because I have oak in here. That's the problem. All right, so we would pick our fire and we would click here and then we would say, click on the fire and then we would go to treatments. And this is going to show all the treatments that this one potentially interacted with, which would be apparently the meow control 15. So then we would click on that and we would say monitor treatments. Now I don't want to screw up the basin and put them in anything. So we would hit monitor treatments and then, you know what? I think I have an option to not save this. So as you can see, we're just moving over in these tabs. We click there and we would say enter data. And this is all those drop downs that I was talking about. So treatment and wildfire interaction. It's just a drop down. Treatment acres burned by wildfire. And now if you had a perimeter, it would have auto calculated this for you. But since you didn't, you can probably just use the perimeter of the incident, which you can pull right off of the 209 or whatever was intersected in that. The date the wildfire entered the treatment, you don't even have to think about it. It's going to auto calculate for you. Again, noticing these little red asterisks. Did the fire behavior change as a result of the treatment? Yes, no, or the fire didn't actually enter the treatment. Did it contribute to control or management? And then was the treatment strategically located in order to facilitate the control of the fire? This one is a legacy question. And I honestly, I don't lean too heavily into it. Please answer it to the best of your ability. I am sort of the mindset that particularly key point 3 and 6 treatments, there was a strategy behind their location. But you do still have to answer this question for it to be able to be saved. So once you have entered all of that, you would say save. And then it will populate something that says, do you want to submit the monitoring for this? And you would say, yep. And that red flame will turn to green, which means the monitoring has been completed. All right. So that's all it is. So I really wanted to go through that because a lot of people, I feel like maybe have some misconceptions about what this, as soon as you say monitoring, people kind of like, oh, monitoring, I don't know, that sounds like a lot of work. It's not. We can do this very, very, very quickly, very easily, and it's incredibly important. So any questions before I go back to the slideshow? Is anyone excited to see how easy this is? Okay.
No questions, but you are up to 29 participants, Kendra, so I think you
Damn. Nailed it. All right. Let's go ahead and the little swappies.
Do you have a question, Kendra? Karen says, if the fax isn't up to date, can you update it before doing this?
Okay, so yeah, there's 2 ways that I know of that you can do it. Is way number 1 is going to be, you can actually enter the treatment. There is a method for you to be able to enter a treatment by uploading the polygon. I would personally just recommend that you just get it updated into fax. Just leave that fire as unmonitored and let the system kind of work through its normal channels. Because sometimes trying to upload it from the front end makes it a little weird when that eventually gets uploaded in fax and you may show up as being not monitored again. So it can get a little funky. I would recommend that the quality and the entry of the data is more important than rushing and getting this in. I mean, yes, I understand there is a day attached to that policy. However, the quality is more important than the time. Okay, so InstaHelp, me, I cannot stress this enough. I will take phone calls anytime. You can ask the Klamath. I will sit there and screen share and we will do it together and knock out your treatment in under 5 minutes. It's that quick and I have no problem doing it. So use me first. If you are interested, and actually this is, let's go ahead and skip verification. If you go into the FTEM, there is a help section. Again, I'll put this directly into the chat so that way people can figure it out. This help section might be the greatest help section I've ever seen created by one of our agency kind of programs. It's fantastic. So there's some quick ones: setting up your FTEM account, adding shapes. That was what you were getting to with adding treatments in on the backside, getting guidance to answer monitoring questions. And so that's all going to be right here. This is an amazing help section if for some reason you're feeling weird about just going direct with me. For those of you that are sick of reading things on your computer and would rather have a cup of coffee and watch something, there's also a YouTube channel. Stand by. Uh-oh. Let's see. I wonder if I can click this. Yeah. There's an entire YouTube channel that you can sit there and watch someone just like me do it exactly the same way. So here's the release for the Forest Service. It's an hour long, but you can just go ahead and watch that as well. So tons of places to get help. Definitely start with me. If not, then you can read or watch your way into FTM glory. All right. And that is it. As always, we will close off with the happy mug shots of your regional fuel staff that is always here for any questions that you have. And definitely remember that we have office hours, open office hours for those of you that maybe haven't heard about that, on Tuesdays from 12 to 13:30. And if you need the invite, just reach out to any of these smiling faces, smiling-ish faces, and we can make sure to forward you the invite. And again, that's a place for networking, conversation. There is no agenda. It's completely driven by the questions that you come with. And sometimes the conversations get really fun. So on that note, that is my 23-minute presentation. As we have always promised, these are short and dirty, but good to get people familiar with things.
Thanks, Kendra, for that. You see the hand raised by Rudy?
Yeah.
Yep, I just want to make sure I understood correctly that the LP is up to date.
I believe so. I swear I saw a red flame and I was like,
No, I don't
I got
think so.
ready. No, yeah, it's imaginary. Yeah, and
Awesome.
I will be getting back now that we have lost our there we go, end the recording. Now that we have lost our acting national fire